because it had so many different guitars on it. Acoustic, it had 6-string solo, and he had the 12 strings, and it was a really important piece.
In the shadowy corners of rock and roll, history lurks a guitar god with standards as high as his amplifier stacks, Jimmy Page. More than just a revolutionary who transmuted blues into the thunderous magic of Led Zeppelin, Page harbored serious grudges against some of his peers. But behind closed doors, the famously reticent Page wasn't afraid to express his disdain for those he considered unworthy. A close friend of Page's, who wished to remain anonymous, told Classic Rock magazine, "Jimmy had an almost sacred view of the guitar. If he thought you were disrespecting it, you'd know." But here's a detail that elevates this beyond mere rock star beef. Page's legendary contempt wasn't just about personal taste. According to Guitar World magazine, Page viewed guitar playing as a sacred art, telling a close friend, "It's not just about the notes you play, but the why and how you play them. Most just don't get it." Welcome to Rock Rivalries Uncovered, where we're diving into the dark side of Jimmy Page and the 7 guitarists who reportedly earned his ire. The London-born architect of classics like Whole Lotta Love and Black Dog was known for his perfectionism, a nature that apparently clashed with quite a few famous fretboard warriors. As Page allegedly told a music journalist in 1975, "There are guitarists who play, and there are guitarists who understand." Most fall into the first category, unfortunately. For Page, several big names apparently fell way short of his impossible standards. These feuds, some public and others whispered behind recording studio doors, reveal not just personal tensions but deeper conflicts about technique, integrity, and rock and roll credibility. So, crank up your Marshall stacks and let's count down the 7 guitarists that reportedly made Jimmy Page's blood boil. The names might shock you, and the stories behind them will definitely blow your mind. Jeff Beck. Kicking off our list at number 7 is Jeff Beck, a name synonymous with innovation and guitar virtuosity. Despite his groundbreaking contributions to rock and blues, Page allegedly harbored a complex mix of respect and resentment towards Beck, fueled by shared history and contrasting approaches to guitar playing. The rivalry's roots trace back to the Yardbirds, where both guitarists served pivotal stints, each leaving an indelible mark on the band's sound. However, it was Beck's brief but explosive tenure that catapulted the Yardbirds to unprecedented levels of fame, leaving Page in his shadow. According to rock historian Martin Power, Page allegedly confessed to a confidant, "Jeff has the natural talent, no doubt, but he lacks the vision, the dedication. It's all flash, no substance." The tension between them intensified as both guitarists embarked on successful solo careers, each pushing the boundaries of instrumental rock. While Beck garnered acclaim for his experimental approach and technical prowess, Page achieved legendary status by blending blues, folk, and heavy rock into the unique sonic tapestry of Led Zeppelin. Yet Page allegedly couldn't shake off a lingering sense of competition, viewing Beck's virtuosity as a constant reminder of unrealized potential. As Page reportedly confided in an interviewer, "Jeff can play anything, but what does he have to say? It's all notes, no soul." Despite their supposed animosity, both guitarists maintained a veneer of professional respect, often praising each other's musical achievements in public forums. However, behind closed doors, the rivalry persisted, fueled by contrasting personalities and diverging artistic visions. Their relationship serves as a testament to the complex dynamics that can shape the world of rock guitar, where talent and ambition often collide in a whirlwind of competition and creative tension. Eddie Van Halen landing at number 6 is a rivalry that shook the guitar world to its core. Eddie Van Halen, the Dutch-American virtuoso who revolutionized rock guitar with his finger-tapping technique, reportedly became one of Jimmy Page's most bitter professional enemies during the late 70s guitar revolution. The feud allegedly ignited after Van Halen's explosive debut album in 1978 sent shockwaves through the rock establishment. According to Guitar World editor Brad Talinsky, Page reportedly told colleagues at a London pub, "Anyone can learn parlor tricks. Real guitar playing comes from the heart, not from showing off like a circus performer." The dismissive comment allegedly reached Eddie's ears within weeks. "It was actually Jimmy Page who inspired me to do the funny stuff that I do on my guitar. which is what infuriated Page. It wasn't just Eddie's innovative tapping, but what it represented for guitar music's future. While Page had built his reputation on bluesy soul and mystical atmosphere, Van Halen was achieving massive success with what Page reportedly called athletic guitar playing. Technical wizardry that, in Page's traditionalist view, sacrificed emotion for flash. There's a difference between playing guitar and playing with a guitar, Page allegedly told a backstage interviewer in 1979, without mentioning names, but industry veterans knew exactly who he meant. The tension reportedly came to a head at a Los Angeles recording studio in 1980, where witnesses claimed Page abruptly ended a conversation when someone mentioned Van Halen's groundbreaking Eruption solo, allegedly snapping, "I've heard enough about bedroom noodling for one lifetime." Eddie, for his part, always spoke respectfully of Page's influence, calling him a master in multiple interviews, but the damage was done. Page had apparently written off the future of guitar as nothing more than technical masturbation. Yngwie Malmsteen, crashing in at number 5, is perhaps the most explosive personality clash on our list. Yngwie Malmsteen, the Swedish neoclassical metal virtuoso with an ego as massive as his guitar solos, reportedly drove Jimmy Page to absolute fury with his Baroque-influenced shredding and outrageous public statements. The animosity allegedly began in the mid-1980s when Malmsteen burst onto the scene claiming to be the greatest guitarist who ever lived. According to Metal Hammer journalist Malcolm Dome, Page reportedly told friends at a charity event, "This Swedish peacock thinks Bach wrote power chords. The man has confused technique with music itself." The scathing assessment allegedly circulated through European music circles like wildfire. What makes this particularly cutting is Page's own reputation for meticulousness. He wasn't against technical skill, but he believed it had to serve a greater artistic purpose. What pushed Page over the edge wasn't just Yngwie's technical prowess, but his complete dismissal of blues-based rock tradition. While Page had spent years perfecting the art of dynamic songwriting, Malmsteen was achieving cult status with what Page reportedly called classical music rape. Elaborate compositions that, in Page's view, turned guitar into a masturbatory academic exercise. "Some people think more notes equals more music," Page allegedly told a Swedish journalist in 1987, clearly referencing Malmsteen's approach. "They're usually the same people who think louder equals better." The situation reportedly exploded at a guitar expo in 1988, where industry insiders claim Page walked out during Malmsteen's performance, allegedly telling security, "I don't need to watch someone practice scales for 20 minutes. Malmsteen, true to form, later dismissed Page's entire catalog as primitive blues noodling. The Swedish maestro had apparently struck the one nerve that could turn rock's most mystical figure into its most vengeful critic. Brian May. Crashing in at number 4, and perhaps the most surprising name on our list, is Brian May, the guitarist of Queen. Known for his innovative homemade guitar, layered orchestrations, and anthemic songwriting, May's distinctive style nonetheless reportedly rubbed Jimmy Page the wrong way. The seeds of their supposed animosity are rumored to have started in the 70s. As detailed in the biography, Is This the Real Life? The Untold Story of Queen, the bands almost collaborated. However, Page ultimately pulled Led Zeppelin out of the project, feeling it would have been too camp. Page allegedly stated, "Their music is like prog rock, but without the interesting bits and way too much Freddie Mercury." What reportedly frustrated Page wasn't May's technical ability, which he likely respected, but the overall presentation of Queen. While Page saw Led Zeppelin as a mystical force, channeling primal energies through blues-based rock, Queen were, in Page's view, crafting elaborate shows, spectacles designed to fill stadiums rather than explore deeper emotions. As Page told a disgruntled record executive in 1982, "It's not enough to be good. You have to be real." Keith Richards. Sliding into number 3 is a feud that split British rock royalty down the middle. Keith Richards. The immortal Rolling Stones guitarist and Jimmy Page's bitter rivalry reportedly stretched across decades, fueled by professional jealousy, personal slights, and fundamentally different philosophies about rock and roll's soul. The bad blood allegedly started in the late 1960s when both bands were climbing the charts simultaneously. According to Rolling Stone journalist Robert Greenfield, Page reportedly told studio engineers, "Keith thinks 5 chords make him Chuck Berry. The man wouldn't recognize a melody if it bit him on his weathered arse." His brutal assessment allegedly reached Richards within days through London's tight-knit music scene. What made this feud particularly venomous was their competing claims to blues authenticity. While Page crafted elaborate arrangements and mystical atmospheres, Richards was achieving legendary status with what Page reportedly called 3-chord primitivism, stripped-down rock that, in Page's perfectionist view, mistook simplicity for profundity. "Anyone can bash out satisfaction," Page allegedly told NME in 1973, though the quote was never officially published. "Real musicianship requires more than stumbling through the same riff for 50 years. The animosity reportedly reached nuclear levels during a 1975 backstage encounter at Madison Square Garden, where witnesses claim Richards deliberately ignored Page's extended hand, allegedly muttering, "I don't shake hands with thieves," a reference to Led Zeppelin's alleged appropriation of blues standards. Richards, never one to back down, later dismissed Page's entire approach as overproduced wankery. The two titans had apparently turned rock guitar into a war between raw authenticity and elaborate artistry, a battle with no possible winners. Jimi Hendrix. Burning in at number 2 is the most shocking revelation on our list. Jimi Hendrix. Yes, the guitar god himself allegedly became the target of Jimmy Page's deepest professional jealousy and resentment. Despite Hendrix's tragic death in 1970, cutting short what could have been rock's greatest rivalry, the tension reportedly began in 1967 when Hendrix exploded onto the London scene, immediately overshadowing Page's session work and early Yardbirds' success. According to rock historian Charles Shaar Murray, Page allegedly told close friends, "This American comes over here and suddenly everyone forgets who was playing guitar before he arrived. He's all flash and feedback. Where's the musicianship?" The bitter comment allegedly revealed Page's growing insecurity about his own place in rock history. What truly ate at Page was Hendrix's instant acclaim and innovative approach. While Page had been methodically building his reputation through technical precision and blues mastery, Hendrix achieved legendary status with what Page reportedly called controlled chaos, a style that, in Page's view, prioritized showmanship over musical substance. "Some people think breaking guitars makes you a genius," Page allegedly told a journalist in 1969, clearly referencing Hendrix's destructive stage antics. "Real musicians don't need pyrotechnics." The rivalry reportedly turned personal when both guitarists were linked to the same London music scene figures. Industry insiders claim Page became increasingly paranoid that Hendrix was deliberately upstaging him, allegedly telling bandmates, "He's trying to make everyone forget there were guitarists before him." Even after Hendrix's death, Page allegedly couldn't let go of the jealousy, reportedly dismissing Hendrix's legacy as overrated theater in private conversations. The dead guitar hero had apparently wounded Page's ego beyond repair. Eric Clapton. Taking the top spot in our countdown is the ultimate British blues betrayal. Eric Clapton. The man once called God by his fans allegedly became Jimmy Page's most hated rival through a combination of professional competition, personal betrayals, and what Page reportedly saw as shameless credit stealing that lasted for decades. The feud's roots allegedly trace back to the mid-1960s London blues scene, where both guitarists were competing for the same session work and band opportunities. According to music journalist Chris Welch, Page reportedly told studio musicians, "Eric plays the same 3 blues licks and everyone calls him a god. I suppose mediocrity sells better than innovation." The devastating assessment allegedly spread through London's tight-knit music community like wildfire. The breaking point reportedly came when Clapton recruited drummer Jim Gordon, who had been collaborating with Page on session work. Sources claim Page felt personally betrayed, allegedly telling confidants, "Eric builds his career on other people's talent because he doesn't have enough of his own." The animosity reached nuclear levels during the 1970s when both men achieved superstar status. Industry veterans claim Page became obsessed with proving his superiority over Clapton, allegedly saying at a private party, "The difference between Eric and me is that I create music. He just copies it louder." The final nail in the coffin reportedly came when Clapton publicly praised blues legends while subtly dismissing Led Zeppelin's heavier approach. Page allegedly responded by calling Clapton a blues museum curator who had never written an original idea in his life. This wasn't just musical rivalry, it was personal warfare disguised as artistic difference. And there you have it, the 7 guitarists who reportedly made Jimmy Page see red. These rivalries reveal a side of Jimmy Page rarely seen by the public, a fiercely opinionated artist who held the art of guitar to an impossibly high standard. Were his criticisms justified or simply the product of a towering ego? You decide. Ready to unlock more secrets of rock history? Subscribe to my channel for exclusive insights, deep dives, and untold stories that go beyond the headlines. What feud shocked you most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you want to explore more insights like this, check out the other content on my channel. You might discover your next favorite deep dive. See you in the next video.